Hello YouTube and welcome back to Cover 2 Credits. Today we're doing a bit of a special episode. We wanted to been doing this for a while, maybe use it for one of our wild card shows, but we decided today we would just break it out. Our favorite childhood cartoons.
Childhood
not
to
so
now.
much cartoons, but just our favorite cartoons of all time. And going back to the old days on a lot of these.
Start with each number 3.
Yeah, started with each number 3.
Alright. My number 3 is Reboot. Now, Reboot was on Cartoon Network.
That's classic.
Yeah. It didn't look that great, truthfully.
No, it was the original stuck in a video game store.
Yep, and original, I think one of the early cell-shaded cartoons. It was one of the cell-shaded, kind of.
It was sort
Either
of.
way.
I think it was sort of. Actually, it might have been like really CGI.
It could be. It could be. Either way, interesting story. Cool action. It didn't go for terribly long.
Like 50 episodes, maybe.
Something like that. I liked it a lot, though. You watched it, too?
Yeah, I like Reboot. Not in my top 3, but it was excellent. I watched a lot of Reboot. Probably every episode, at least twice.
It was good. It was good. I don't know if it still holds up, quote-unquote, holds up, but it was good when it was on. Your number 3?
My number 3, it has to be... It's not really when I was a childhood, but Teen Titans is probably my number 3. Which is odd, since you're the comic book guy, and I like all the comic book cartoons. Teen Titans is excellent.
Is good.
You've got teen angst with Robin and Cyborg. Cyborg in Teen Titans is an awesome character. You've got
Beast
Boy, Raven,
Starfire.
That's the one I was forgetting. And you've got, it's just a great story. Truth, justice, the American way, and teen love angst. It all goes in it all is just an awesome cartoon.
And they're cool crossovers. They bring cool people in, and so
got cool villains, got cool drama. You've got your tough moral dilemmas without being that tough because it's a kid show and it's just a great feel good cartoon.
I think its popularity also spun off to where they did Young Justice, which was the Young Justice League, and it was.
I tried to watch that the other day on Netflix, and I couldn't get through the first part of the first episode.
Down the road, it did get better, but it was one of those where they elaborated on it. It was interesting. It wasn't anything great, but... so my number 2 then?
Yeah, shoot.
Doug. Doug was legit Nickelodeon in its heyday. Just... I always liked Doug. It was great stories. Good characters.
They'd call it in the anime genre, it would be a slice of life.
Yep.
Where nothing particularly exciting is really happening. It's just
beg to differ, my friend.
It's just real people dealing with real issues, and it's done in a hysterical way.
Yep.
And great music by the Killer Beats.
Yeah, awesome. Killers, yeah. Yep.
And those songs will be stuck in my head for all time, I'm sure.
The best part is you mixed it up. It was Killer Tofu. It was the name of the song, by the Beats.
Oh, I thought it was a Killer Beats.
No.
But see, it's been a while.
Pork Chop was an awesome character. Quail Man, awesome character.
Mm-hmm.
Your number 2?
Probably the X-Men cartoon.
Easily, I think, other than maybe my number 1, and I'm not sure what your number 1, probably the longest running cartoon of all of them we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many episodes it was.
It went a long time.
Like at least 100.
It got to where, and like you said, I'm more the comic book guy than you are. It got to where there were characters that nobody had heard of that were in the.
Yeah, they're breaking them out of left field, and I mean, tons of story arcs, tons of great villains, tons of action, and I mean, it's the X-Men. I mean, it's been the last real television to get the X-Men right. Yep. Although I know you love the new X-Men.
Oh, the latest, Past. Yeah.
I know you're a big Days of Future Past guy.
Well, the last couple movies are alright. I mean, either way, but it's not even the same. Yeah, not even the same thing.
X-Men the cartoon was incredible.
It was definitely really good.
I mean, it was for a cartoon. It's pretty dark to be on Saturday morning.
It got very dark,
and like I said, it's an awesome show.
Yep. It was one of those that even if you were in the middle of a story arc on there, and for some reason they didn't show a new episode, didn't matter. Still watching whatever was on. every time it was on, and just keeping up with it
was great. All right, Stair.
Oh, number one.
Number one.
Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, so good.
I think it may have ran longer than X-Men.
It's on Amazon Prime. I want to say it's like 3.5 seasons.
Okay. Easily. Now we say this. Now all of these cartoons have won many awards, a lot of Emmys, a lot of things like that you don't necessarily hear a lot about. I know of a couple specific for Batman episodes that won, and that's a big deal when you're dealing with real. I say real television that's not animation. Playing best episode stuff. There's one called Heart of Ice, which was the Mr. Freeze story.
Excellent.
That won Emmys for it. You know, it's the only one of these cartoons. I don't believe X-Men did it, but that created a character in the show that they put in canon after that. Do you know who it is?
No.
Harley Quinn. They created Harley Quinn in the animated series.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know she was a cartoon character first before she got in the comics.
Yep, they created her in the animated series, and then she became canon, and then became and everything else. They're just such a, again, like X-Men, huge story arc, huge characters. That's
great.
That's why that by itself to me is why Batman is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows that you were completely correct when you say it transcends its own genre.
Yeah.
And it's like you take any great story with great characters, and it doesn't matter what genre you write it in, it's still going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you have a good enough story and it's an anime, it'll hold up as a movie, it'll hold up as television. Whatever you want to take that story and write it as, it holds up. And one of the first real cartoons that sort of started Western culture down the cartoon path. I mean, you take a country like Japan where anime is primetime television.
Yep.
It really is. And they have hundreds of TV shows that, well, not hundreds, probably like 30, 35, 40 television shows of anime that are running all of the time.
Yep.
And it's a huge market over there. Over here, not really that huge of a market.
It's getting bigger, though.
Getting bigger.
Not prime time.
Especially as the world gets smaller with TV and internet, and you can go on and watch whatever episodes of everything you want online for free all the time because of whatever. Yep. But Batman the Animated Series, one of the first huge cartoons to really get cartoon culture going. And like you said, it holds up against everything else because it's that good.
Well, and Batman's a story like let's say X-Men.
Hmm.
What people know of X-Men now are the movies, because there is no good X-Men cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Batman doesn't change. You can watch those cartoons now, and it'll hold up just like any of the movies will. It's the same story, and and by the end of it, there were a lot of things that changed. But like all of these cartoons we've mentioned so far, the voice acting has been just insane and just great. I know. Some of the people that you wouldn't know are doing voice acting, like Mark Hamill did the Joker for Batman for a long time, and a lot of people never knew that. And there's a lot of guys that kind of the unsung heroes of what we're doing are definitely the voice actors that never hear about anything.
They're the guys that no one has ever heard of that make good shows, great shows, and make average shows into good shows.
You do your number one, and then I'll give you a little hint of a thing you can see if you want to give a little nod to some of the voice actors.
Probably one of the most well-known cartoons ever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
That's got to be my number one. And it
ran from, I believe, mid-'80s to early 90s?
Yeah, it was on a long time, and it's the classic cartoon. I mean, you've got these superhero cartoons, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was its own thing, created as a cartoon, and it is, again, a story that holds up across genres. And it is, like I said, it's just excellent. It's a stupid concept. You got 4 turtles to get in contact with magical goo, and it turns them into people, and they fight evil.
History lesson. Do you know, originally, do you know what the TMNT was? Like, genre-wise, like a TV show, comic, whatever. Do you know what it was? Originally, it was a comic book that was extremely dark. Now, I say dark, it was a black and white comic, but it was also very dark content. Do you know what superhero the Turtles lived in the same universe as?
No.
Daredevil. When the accident hit that made Daredevil blind, he was hit with this goo from a chemical truck. The truck then leaks this into the sewer, and the writers played it into the ooze was the same ooze that created the Ninja Turtles.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
See, Stairs, comic book guy, he knows things like that.
Now, after that, though, none of that's the same. That doesn't happen now. I don't think Marvel has anything to do with the Ninja Turtles, which at some point they would have if Daredevil was actually involved. But, yeah, I grew up loving the Ninja Turtles, the old movies, the cartoons. You and I even like the new movie. A lot of people hate that movie.
I don't see what...
I don't know.
Anyway, that's another thing.
Yeah.
But... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that is my childhood in a nutshell.
It was a great cartoon.
I was always a Donatello guy.
All of these cartoons were awesome. Yeah, okay, I'm the most mellow guy you know, but what Ninja Turtles was my favorite? Raphael. All the time.
Raphael's an angry dude.
That's why I never just pent up aggression.
You got pent up aggression for days. You just want to rage at someone with a sigh.
Yeah, sharp objects. One thing I'll mention, if you ever want to kind of see to the other side of this stuff, there's a podcast I listen to called Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson. You can find it all over the internet. He's got it on his website. You can find it on iTunes, stuff like that. He does a show at, I think it's the Improv in L.A., that they bring in other voice actors. Now, you may not know who Rob Paulson is, other than his name is Robert Paulson from Fight Club. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. He doesn't. But Rob Paulson did a lot of the voices from cartoons you would know. He was Pinky and Pinky and the Brain. He was Yakko and Dr. Scratch and Sniff from Animaniacs. He was originally, I believe, Donatello and now is Raphael in the current, or vice versa. But he was in the original Ninja Turtles cartoon as a turtle, and now he is a turtle now in Nickelodeon's cartoon. When they're doing the show and you get people like... I can't think of his last name. I think it's Maurice LaGrange. I'm not sure. His first name's Maurice, but he did The Brain. We'll come watch the show. And while they're talking about, doing shows with different people, and they ask somebody a question, and next thing you know, it's Pinky and the Brain talking back and forth to each other. It's hard to wrap your mind around it, even listening to it, because you hear both sides of it. You hear who they actually are, and then you hear about the job. And it's pretty awesome to hear. It's kind of an interesting take, so... If you're ever interested in that, something to think about.
All right, well, there's our latest episode for the day, and thanks for tuning in, YouTube.
Please subscribe. Tell us your favorite cartoons from when you were younger to now.
And we'll do our best to make fun of you.
Well, or agree. There were a lot we didn't mention that could have gotten mentioned.
Yeah, tough to narrow down to 3.
Yeah, it was.
We packed a lot of cartoon hours.
Thank you again.
And thanks for staying till after the credits.